a dollar store because they're pretty much everywhere in the country on every corner. And right here is Propel, and that's a berry as well as a grape flavored water. Now, I do not recommend getting flavored water because you'll want to drink it faster. So for an all-day sit, you'll want to gulp that as opposed to drinking water where you're just taking a sip when you're thirsty or just to wet your lips. So I'd recommend not getting anything flavored. Definitely do not get any energy drinks because energy drinks tend to make you have a little bit more anxiety. So get water. Now, there's a difference in the bottles when you buy water. This one, for instance, you can hear that bottle. When you get some water out of this after you've opened that lid and allowed air inside, that is very noisy. If you take that out of your pack and you squeeze it, it'll make a really bad noise. Now, this is an Aquafina, and this is a harder bottle. So this is actually a harder plastic shelled bottle. So that will not make noise when you take it out to drink it. Now over here, these are multi-packs of Aquafina, but these are in those same noisy plastic bottles. So whenever you're buying water, you want to make sure that you get it in a hard enough plastic bottle that when you take it out and drink it, because when you open it you'll be squeezing on the sides, it doesn't make this plasticky noise. Now when you're buying bottles for peeing in, the Gatorade bottle will work because you see it's got a pretty big throat on the top when you open it, but the Grand Tropical has a little bit bigger throat. Actually, it's considerably larger, so it's easier to pee in. Also, it's 25 ounces, whereas the Gatorade is 20 ounces. Typically, on an all-day sit, water-wise, I'll drink about 20 ounces. So I won't drink anything before I go hunting. I'll make sure I pee in the morning before I leave my house or wherever I'm at. But I'm going to consume only 20 ounces max during the full day, and I'll have a 25-ounce bottle to pee in because I would never even consider peeing out of a tree. And then once you drink the Grand Drop, that's what you're going to use as a pee bottle, or you can just take it and dump it out. It's $1.45 at the dollar store, so it's relatively cheap. It's going to be cheaper at $1.45 even if you dump it out than it's going to be to buy a pee bottle in a sporting goods store, which is probably going to cost you $10 or $15. Welcome to another episode of Eberhart Outdoors. This one is going to be on all-day sits. You know, what do I eat? But before I get started on that, I've had several people over the last year say that I had mentioned on a video at some point on an ESS to use a 16-inch bridge length from D-ring to D-ring. If I said that, I may have said 16 inches because of using an old tree sling, which doesn't really have the D-rings. It has something different. So I want to clarify that for you guys. So if you're using an ESS and you have, let's say, a 32 to a 35-inch waistline, my suggestion, my recommendation, this is the way I put it on here, is to have from the edge of this D-ring to the edge of this D-ring. I fixed my bridge. I do not like to leave it adjustable. I have a 19-inch bridge. 19 inches. So if you're in a 32 to 35, maybe even a 36, you're going to want something in a bridge length from D-ring to D-ring to be about 19 to 22 inches. The longer your bridge is, so the more it comes out here like this, the less you're going to have any possibility of hip pinch. Right? Two-panel saddles, you don't have hip pinch anyway like you do on singles. But if you do have a short bridge, a 16-inch bridge is going to come here like this as opposed to like this. So obviously if it comes around faster in the front, it's going to put more pressure on your hips right here. So you might get hip pinch if your bridge is too short. So again, I want to recommend on your ESSs, if you have anything from a 32, 35-inch waist, you're going to want your bridge to be at least 19 inches from D-ring to D-ring, up to 22 inches. And then if you have
bigger waistlines than that, I would probably add at least an inch of bridge length for every 1.5 to 2 inches of waist you have over 35 inches. So that was something I just wanted to get out of the way. On morning sits and on evening sits, I never ever take food, ever. I always have water. I always have 20 ounces of water in my backpack, and I always carry a pee bottle. I would never ever, not in my wildest dreams, would I ever urinate out of my tree. And I've actually responded to some Facebook posts that have stuff like that. Well, I pee out of my tree and I have deer come in. You know what? I get so sick of hearing that crap. If you're not hunting in a pressured area, and if you are hunting in a pressured area and you have 1.5 and maybe 2.5-year-old bucks come in and does and fawns, that's irrelevant. If you're hunting 3.5-year-old and older bucks and you're in a pressured area, you better pay attention at every detail. Yeah, is it possible that once you urinate out of a tree within 30 to 40, 50 minutes, that is going to basically turn into a solid ammonia type odor? Yeah, that's possible. But what's going to happen in those first 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes? I guarantee you, human urine does not smell like deer urine. I've smelled a lot of scrapes shortly after they've been urinated in. I've cut out many pee bladders, saved the urine to use on mock scrapes in the past. Deer urine does not smell like human urine. So you can think whatever you want. I really don't care. But please don't reply that, well, I've had deer come in to that, so it obviously doesn't affect anything. Well, yeah, if you're hunting in a lightly pressured or a managed area, you know, deer react differently because they're not pressured. They're not shot at till they're 3 or 4 years old. So they have a lot less fear of human intrusions and human odor of any kind. So, but if you're hunting in a pressured area and you're targeting 3.5-year-old and older bucks that are relatively smart, don't pee out of your tree. Don't take that chance. Is there a chance you could pee out of a tree and have a big buck come in? Absolutely. Especially if he's coming in from upwind. But if a mature buck's coming in from downwind and he's going to smell human urine within the first 10 or 15 minutes you peed, it smells different than deer urine. Trust me on that one. I've been doing this 55 years, so please don't respond that, well, I've peed out of my tree for years and I've shot a lot of deer. If you are going to reply, please send me where you're hunting and tell me, show me pictures of how many of the bucks are 3.5 years old and older. Because if they're not, I don't really want to hear about it. So, with that being said, I hate to be rude like that, but that's just the reality, and I deal in reality. When I'm using water, when I take water with me, which I have on every hunt, I always take a hard plastic bottle. Now this bottle here is an Aquafina. Now Aquafina sells water in cheap bottles and they sell water in heavy plastic bottles. This is a heavy plastic bottle. So when I open this water and I can squeeze on the plastic, it's not making any noise. You take something like this, now this is Members Mark, listen to that. You take that out, and this is almost full. The less water it has in it, the crunchier it's going to be. So this is unacceptable to use as a water bottle where you carry it in your backpack. This is Dasani. Now this is Dasani. This here is a little heavier plastic than that one, but it's still noisy. You can hear that crunch. This is an Aquafina. There's no noise in there, so there's not any noise. The more noise you make on stand, if it's calm out, the more chance of you getting picked. So stay away from bottles that are crunchy, and usually when you buy those big cases where it's like $5 or $6 for 36 things of water, you're going to get them in this. It's going to be seriously noisy because it's really thin plastic, because they can make it cheaper that way. So I like to carry a 20-ounce bottle of water, and if I'm on an all-day sit where I'm going to physically take food, I will go to the bathroom before I leave my house. Once I park my vehicle, I'll probably go to the bathroom again, but I don't drink in the morning. I never drink coffee in the morning, on an all-day sit especially. I don't drink anything in the morning that will make me have to go to the bathroom more during the day. But I take 20 ounces of water, and for pee bottles, there's a couple options. Now this is a standard 20-ounce Gatorade bottle. Obviously this is new, it's still got Gatorade in it. So this has a big enough throat to actually pee in, but you can go to a dollar store. Dollar stores are about every 10 or 15 miles all around the country, and you can buy an ocean spray. I cut these off, as you can see. I take the label off, but this ocean spray has a considerably bigger throat on the top than a Gatorade. So Gatorade's okay. This only holds 20 ounces of urine. This holds 28 ounces of urine, so this actually has a larger capacity as well. And this is a hard plastic, just like this Aquafina bottle right there. It's very hard plastic, so this is not going to make any noise. But I recommend the ocean spray, and again, it's $1.45. Even if you buy this at a dollar store and you don't want to drink what's in it, pour it on the ground for $1.45. You go to a sporting goods store and you buy some sort of a pee bottle, it's probably going to cost you 10 to 15 bucks. So even if you don't drink this, this is pretty cheap for $1.45 for a nice bottle like this. It holds that many ounces. So that takes care of the water and a pee bottle. And again, I would never ever consider peeing on the ground out of my tree. Wouldn't even be a thought. And obviously you can't use a pop bottle or one of your water bottles because the throat's too small, too hard of a hole to hit. Now, as far as food, I get asked this all the time. What do you take to eat? I typically will take 2 apples. 2 basic apples. I usually like sweet apples, or a little bit crunchy. But they're going to be bigger apples. I usually don't buy them in the bags. In the bags they're kind of small, so I like to get a couple of big apples. And I'll typically put them in a gallon Ziploc bag and put them in the back of my bottom of my backpack. And then once I eat an apple, if I take one out and eat it, I'll take the core and I'll put it in the Ziploc bag, and again, I'll seal that up so there's no apple or odor. Now, deer love apples, but if you're hunting in an area and you're hunting for a mature buck in a pressured area and there's no apple trees around and they get a hint of apples that aren't supposed to be there, there's always that minute possibility they may turn around and leave because they know that odor is not supposed to be in that vicinity. There's lots of areas in timber areas where there's no apple trees for miles and miles, so that's a total foreign odor to them. So apples, I always take apples on an all-day sit because there's a lot of energy in apples, a lot of sugar. Something else I always take are granola bars. I buy these in these bigger boxes, and I'll usually take 4 or 5 of these granola bars, and they have, calorie-wise, there's 100 calories per bar. But I don't take them in this because you hear that plastic? I mean, I can hear that real easy. So what I'll do is I'll open these up and I'll take these granola bars out. And I will put them in a quart Ziploc freezer bag. Try to get freezer bags if you're getting bags for hunting. So I'm going to take that. Whoops. So I'm going to take that granola bar. I'm going to put 5 of those in there, all of them in the same bag. That way, when I open this Ziploc bag, which doesn't make any noise, I can just grab a granola bar out and eat it. I don't have to listen to this crunching when I'm taking it out or while I'm eating it. Another thing I will take is I'll usually take one of these big XL Hershey bars. And I do the same thing with these because these bags are noisy as well. So I'll open these up, I'll take the bar out, and I'll usually put these right in the same bag with the granola bars. So I'll take this, I'll bust it up, and I put that right in with the granola bars. So I got one XL Hershey bar. I like the milk chocolate. You can get dark chocolate, whatever you enjoy eating. Same with granola. These chocolate chip granola bars, you can get them with peanut butter chips and chocolate chips. There's lots of different ways of getting granola bars, but you're looking at 100 calories per bar here. So if you take 5, that's 500 calories. An apple has quite a few calories, and this Hershey bar has 600 calories. There's 600 calories in this Hershey bar. So you got 600 here, you got 500 there. With the granola bars, you got 1,100 calories there. And then whatever you have in a couple of large apples, I'm sure that's several hundred calories as well. Now you can also, if you don't want granola bars or you don't want chocolate bars, you can do chocolate chip cookies, whatever kind of cookies you like. But keep them in a Ziploc freezer bag, a quart freezer bag, because they're just heavier plastic. There's less odds of getting a hole in it. And when you take your stuff out of the plastic, you do that at home. You do that, or in a hotel or wherever you're at. You do that the night before you're going to go, or because you're going to go in the morning. It's going to be an all-day set that you're going to be in the morning. So you want to do that well before you go. You don't do that up in the tree. Then you got these packages you got to worry about, which have odor. So put it in a Ziploc bag. Apples go in a Ziploc bag. Once you eat it, the core goes also back in the Ziploc bag. So when you're done hunting, you're going to have 2 apple cores if you took 2 apples in the Ziploc bag. And these can be reused, obviously. As far as food, physical food, I usually will only take 1 sandwich. And as far as the sandwich, I kind of like something that I can eat relatively fast. So it's going to be cold cuts, it's going to be ham, possibly turkey, peanut butter. If you do the peanut butter relatively thin, that's about 200 calories. So if you cake the peanut butter on pretty good, you're going to get 300 to 400 calories out of just the peanut butter on a peanut butter sandwich. And as far as bread, I've never really looked at how many calories are on a slice of bread. 90. There's 90 calories to a slice of bread, so you got another 180 calories there. So all together here, you're looking at 5 and 6 is 11. You're probably going to have 400 calories in 2 apples minimum. That's 1,500. You're going to have 300 here. That's 1,800 and two couple hundred here. You're going to have 2,000 calories, and you're not putting a lot of bulk in your stomach, so you won't have to. I mean, it's pretty rare on an all-day sit that I have to go number 2. I'll have to pee probably 4 or 5 times during the course of the day. But because I'm drinking water, and that's something else I probably should have mentioned, I always use water. I don't get energy drinks because they make you more excited. They exhilarate you. That's why they're called energy drinks. And also anything that's flavored, you know, like there's companies that make flavored waters, grapes and strawberries and stuff. You'll find you'll want to drink those faster, whereas if you're just using water, you're just going to take a sip here and there. It's rare that I go into a tree for an all-day sit with a 20-ounce bottle of water. It's rare that I drink it all. Usually I've got at least a half a bottle left at the end of the day. With water, you're not going to drink as much as you normally do. So it's really simple to go hunting on an all-day sit with, you know, you're looking at a couple thousand calories here. That should be plenty enough to sustain anybody. And also, none of this stuff is overly odorful. In other words, I wouldn't take a tuna fish sandwich because that's got a really strong pungent odor. There's different kinds of candies. I wouldn't take gummy bears because you got to chew on those for a period of time. I want something I can consume fast and get it, put it away. The less time it's exposed and having an odor going downwind of me, the less time that happens, the less chance I have of getting winded, because I'm using scent lock. This is a scent control hunt. So that's why everything's in Ziploc baggies. Even the sandwich, the peanut butter sandwich or the cold cut sandwich, they go in a Ziploc bag. And if you only want to eat half of it, you eat half of it and put the other half back in the bag and eat it later. Hunting all day is not a big issue for me. My ESS is super comfortable. It's way more comfortable than any single panel saddle in my opinion, because you've got 8 inches of strapping, solid weight-bearing straps under your butt. You got 4 2-inch straps. That's 8 inches of support. So it's very comfortable to sit all day. It doesn't climb. It's just very comfortable, very versatile, and you can change how you sit. You can change the seat during the course of the day. So sitting all day for me is not a big deal. I've been doing it for years out of that same type of saddle since 1981 actually. So for me, sitting an hour and a half before daylight till a half hour after dark is not a big yank. And typically when I'm doing that, it's in a bedding area, and it's typically during the rut phases. It's pretty rare I sit all day anytime other than like October 25th through the rut phases, because those are the times when mature bucks are going to be possibly looking for estrus does or physically be with an estrus doe and be in a bedding area. So when you're in a bedding area, you are going to have deer downwind of you sometime during the day, because in a bedding area they can come from absolutely any direction at any time of the day. I've found the majority of the big bucks I've shot in bedding areas during the rut phases has been between 11 and 3 o'clock. 35% of the bucks I've shot that have made book were shot from 11 to 3 in bedding areas during the rut phases, while less than 8% of my time spent on stand during those same time frames during the rut phases was during midday. Usually I'm hunting just mornings or just evenings. So 35% success rate on 8% of my time on stand. So obviously that's a really good time frame. And again, that's in bedding areas. So, and you've got to have the scent control regimen down, because you will have deer downwind. If you don't have a good scent control regimen down and you're just carte blanche hunting in a bedding area on an all-day sit, you probably are going to get winded if you don't have the proper scent control regimen. So I think that's it, other than maybe showing my backpack real quick. This here is my backpack. Now my pee bottle and my water bottle go in one side pocket. So this is one of my side pockets, and there's a pee bottle and there's a water bottle. This is left from last season. It's mid-January right now, so I haven't really messed with this. That water's still in there from, you know, mid to last December when I'm on my last hunt. For all you guys that sit all day and are looking for something to eat, that's what I eat. I look at the amount of calories I'm consuming during the course of the day. I look at what kind of odor what I'm eating is or has. I want something that's not going to be that harsh of an odor, like I said a tuna fish sandwich would be. And I also want to know that something I can consume relatively fast. It's not something that I want to take a long time to eat, like a piece of beef jerky. You know, jerky you have in your hand for 10 minutes sometimes, 15 minutes. So I don't eat jerky. I love beef jerky, don't get me wrong, but I never take beef jerky on stand with me because it takes too long to actually consume once I take it out of the Ziploc baggie. Anyway, thank you very much, and please respond with any questions. I filmed this video on January 24th, and as of the 24th, my 2023 workshops, the March 18th and 19th workshop is full. The April 1 and 2 workshop dates have 3 openings, and the April 22nd and 23rd has several openings. So if anybody's interested, send me an email inquiry to DEERJOHN51@gmail.com, and these are 2-day workshops, 1 day out in the field, 2nd day is a full day seminar and nice office chairs in a seminar room up at a big sporting goods store. Everybody gets a 15% discount voucher for a week at the store. It's the biggest store in Michigan. If interested, the links to many of the podcasts I've been on, or for information about my 2-day whitetail workshops that take place in March and April, please visit my website at DEER-JOHN.net. Thank you for watching another episode of Eberhart Outdoors, and to receive notifications for future videos, please subscribe.